1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. Might not be the most obvious song for me to be singing, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great song, and it works really nicely on a single acoustic with a capo on the 2nd fret. I'm going to play this as if in G. It was originally written in A, which is kind of okay on the guitar, but this makes everything a bit more straightforward. There's a verse, and then there's a chorus. The verse has got a small handful of related chords, quite straightforward. The chorus is a little bit more involved, but nothing too tricky. 4 beats in the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the beats are swung, so instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, it's more 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. So the up strums are going to be delayed, and straight away our strumming style will be like this. Now I'm just picking the bottom note of the chord for G, that's the 6th string, with the thumb on the 1st beat, and then down with the rest of the chord, maybe aiming for the upper strings on the 2nd beat, and repeat. And if I play nice and loosely, I'm going to just catch those upper strings on my way back up with some light up strums. That kind of a thing. Now there are a few extra bits that we can add with the kind of second guitar parts. There's 3 or 4 of those that I've tabbed out, and a few little bass runs and so on. But let's just sketch out, before we look at the intro and the chorus, just the basics of the verse. And the first 8 bars are like this. We've got 2 bars of G, 2 bars of D7. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. We've got A minor 7 for a single bar. Giving all you, before D7, love to just one man. Back to G for 2. Man. That's the whole of the first 8 bars. Let's just have that on its own. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. Giving all your love just one man. Now we get to the 2nd section. It begins on 2 bars of C. I'm going to have to sing down an octave here. You'll have bad times. 2 bars of G. And he'll have good times. Now we move to 2 bars of A7. Doing things that you don't understand, to D7. And that finishes the first verse. The 2nd verse is exactly the same, except it has a different ending. And in fact, the form of the song is, after the intro, we have the 1st verse, 2nd verse, and then we get into the choruses, and we never come back to the verse after that. It's all, stand by your man. It's all that. It just carries on. We don't get back to the verse. So let's look at the 2nd verse now. It begins with the same 8-bar sequence we had to begin with. But if you love him, you'll forgive him. A minor 7. Even though he's hard, back to G, to understand. And if you love him, G again, oh be proud, but this time a single bar of G to C. Be proud of him. Now we get back to G, but I'm going to play only the top 4 strings to make G over D. 'Cause after all, D7, he's just a man. And then finally we get into the choruses. That last little bit there, G over D, I'm going to keep my picking my thumb on the 4th string. 'Cause after all, he's just a man. 2 beats on G, 2 on C, and we finish on G, and that kicks us off. Stand by your man. All that stuff, which we're going to look at in a moment. But just before we do, G for 2 beats, C for 2 beats. You've got a finger on the 3rd fret of the top string for G. Keep it there for that little C. 'Cause after all, he's just a man. Now this creates a bit of kind of continuity between the G and the C. That's an optional note for the C chord. All right, that's that. That's the whole of the verses. So let's look at some little details that we can put into that. Now, a really important feature of this kind of music, especially if you want to create a bit of interest in the bottom end, is alternating bass. And essentially what that means is you're going to play the normal bass note on the first beat, strum on the second, and then on the third beat you're going to play a different bass note. So I'm going to go through this chord by chord for the verse, and then we'll look at it again when we get to the chorus. In the meantime, you might want to take a look at my lovely video on alternating bass that should explain all the basics to you. Let's look at an archetype here. This is D7, our basic D7. Our bass note is on the open fourth string, so I'm going to play the open fourth string and strum. And then the rule is, if we can, we're going to move to the next string down on the same fret. Same fret, well that was open, so strum, and the same fret on the fifth string, so it's fifth string open. Open fourth to open fifth. Okay, the A minor 7 likewise, open fifth to open sixth. That would be the same for the A7 that we get at the end of the first verse. Open fifth, open sixth. For the C chord, well, we've got a bass note on the third fret of the fifth string, so we're going to move that finger down to the third fret of the sixth string. Okay. The one chord where we can't move to the next string down is on G, our key chord, because we're already playing the bass note. The standard bass note G is on the sixth string. You haven't got a seventh string, so we need to find that alternating note somewhere else. There are only a couple of chords where you need to do this, G chords and E chords. We haven't got any E chords here yet, but for G, 6 to 4. G to the open fourth. We don't have to move any fingers here, but that's the way that works. Okay, let me just play you through the first and second verse with alternating bass. When we get to the G over D, I'm just going to stay on the fourth string because I just want that bass note to come out. But otherwise, it's going to be like this. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. That's 4 to 5. A minor 7, 5 to 6, giving all your love to just one man. 6 to 4 for the G. C is 5 to 6. You'll have bad times. G, 6 to 4. He'll have good times. A7, 5 to 6, doing things that you don't understand. D7, 4 to 5, and back. But if you love him, you'll forgive him. Even though he's hard to understand. C then 5 to 6. And if you love him, be proud of him. Back to C, G over D. 'Cause after all, he's just a man. And we only get one bass note on each of those last three chords. G, strum, C, strum, G. While we're at it, here's a different shape to play for D7. It's a bit bright here. Capo's up on the second fret. It's all starting to sound a little bit tinny, maybe, almost. Try this. If you play a C and put your little finger on the third fret of the third string and now move that up 2 frets, you've got C7 up to, that's D7, and focus on the middle 4 strings. It's not actually deeper, but it sounds a little mellower, a bit bassier because we've got the bass note on the 5th string, the open 4th string against the 5th fret of the 5th string. That just feels a bit warmer. And because this is based around a C shape, look at this. You can do that. You can move that third finger down from the 5th fret of the 5th string to the 5th fret of the 6th string. So you could put that in instead. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. I quite like that. And while we're talking about bass notes, let's look at this. After the first 8 bars of the verse, which is almost a separate section, we move into the second section of the verse. we go from 2 bars of G into C, and I'll just play you the first 8 bars, and I'm going to put in a walk up, a little scale passage that takes us really nicely from G to C, and then we'll have a look at that. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just one man. Here it goes. See how that works? And you can often use walk-ups or walk-downs to transition between different parts of the same section. It just creates a bit of punctuation and structure. This is an obvious place to do it. We've got G, and then we've got C. So G, A, B, C. We've got 2 intervening notes, and I'm going to play each one on a separate beat. So we've got 2 bars of G. We'll play the first bar of G. G, G, A, B, or G strum A, B. That will eat up the 4 beats that we need. Something like that. Giving all your love to just one man. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum. Da, 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 da. That's a really obvious place to do that, and there's a few more of those. When we look at the intro in a moment, well, we'll have a look at another walk up too. Now the intro is simply 4 bars. G for a bar, C for a bar, G for a bar, D7. When we play the electric guitar part in a moment, you'll see that actually that 3rd bar, G, is G with D in the bass, so the open 4th string, but let's not worry too much about that for now. And if you want to, because that happens in the original, a little walk up, just like the one we just looked at, joining the 1st and 2nd halves of the verse. D, strum, and then 2nd fret of the 4th string to 4th fret of the 4th string. It would be lovely, and you hear this in the bass and the piano, to play this whole thing an octave lower, but that is, of course, is the lowest D we've got, the open 4th string. You could switch the E and F sharp to the lowest string, because the E is the open 6th string. E and then F sharp, or you could put your thumb round there. Sometimes, and that helps to kick off the verse quite nicely. Okay, that is the intro and the verse done. Let's look at the chorus. The chorus is a little bit more involved. We've got some more alternating bass to look at, and we start with a bar of G, a bar of B7, and then 2 bars of C, although we're going to do a little thing at the end of that. Stand by your man. B7, the alternating bass. I've got a 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string there. I'm going to move that to the 2nd fret of the 6th string, 1 string lower on the same fret. C, give hand to arms to cling to. And now we've got G for a bar, E7, A7, D7, just going around the circle of 5ths. E7's another one of those where we need to kind of customize our alternating bass. We start on the open 6th string, so for E7 the rule is we go 6 to 5. We don't have to move anything in the fretting hand. Okay, so those first 8 bars like this. Stand by your man, give him 2 arms to cling to, and something warm to come to when nights are cold and lonely. Of course, you could be playing this D7 there. That's the first 8 bars. But before we go on, at the end of those 2 bars of C, I'm going to do this. There's a little climb down. It's a walk down, but with chords. We've got the C chord, and the top note there is the open top string. That's the melody note, if you like. Now, if I play this, G over B, which is basically a G chord missing the bottom string, so my lowest note is on the 2nd fret of the 5th. Rather than normally as I would have a finger on the 3rd fret of the top string, I'm going to put it on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. You'll see why in a moment. I'm not going to play the top string. I'm going to go to A minor 7, again avoiding the top string. And then again, when I get to G, I'm going to avoid the top string. All that means that the top note of the chord each time is going to harmonize really nicely with that moving bass line. Stand by your man, give him 2 arms to cling to. And I'm just going to pick them 3 fingers and a thumb. And something warm to come to when nights are cold and lonely. The second half of the chorus starts exactly the same way. Stand by your man and tell the world you love him. And then it changes a little bit. G for a bar, D7 for a bar, B7 for a bar, and E7 for a bar. Keep giving all the love you can. Finish with a bar of C, a bar of D7. Stand by your... Then G for 2 beats, C for 2 beats, and G. Man. Okay, what happens then is we simply go back to the second half of the chorus and play that through one time, and then we finish. But we've kind of done that. The very ending. Keep giving all the love you can. C for a bar. Stand D7 by your G for 2 beats, C for 2 beats, G over D for 2 beats, D7 for 2 beats, man. And we finish on a G. That's everything. We're going to put the extra little guitar bits in, but before we do, that little climb down business there, if you've seen my video on Scarborough Fair, for instance, or Feeling Groovy, or even Take It to the Limit, Eagles, which does the same thing in reverse. It's a really common way to get through from C to G, which is another reason why it's really nice to be playing this in G. We've got lots of things we can add. Okay, the extra guitar parts. Now, these are all obviously optional extras if you want them, added bonus features. In the intro, there's a twangy electric guitar, 4 bars of intro, and it's like this. That's the first bar. I'm assigning a different finger to each fret. That's quite good practice. Second finger on the second fret, third finger on the third fret, single note on the second fret. And I'm hammering that on. You could play them separately. Da 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 da, or hammer on. And then all that just goes up a string for the C. And then you've got this. Da 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 da. 4th fret on the 5th string to the open 4th string, or you could go 4th fret to 5th fret on the 5th string. Might make more sense. And we end that 3rd bar with a single beat 2nd fret on the 5th string for a B, and then an A. That's the open 5th string. And then our little walk up that we looked at earlier. So that's the intro riff. Now in the verse, in the 4th bar, we get this. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. Okay, and that is open 4th string. I'm using a finger, my 3rd finger, I could be using my 4th finger, on the 5th string, open 4th, 4th fret on the 5th, back to the 4th, and then 1st fret and 2nd fret on the 4th. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. Okay, and that kicks off the A minor 7. You can hear that, that's played on the original. When we get into the chorus, we get this. Stand by your man. And I've got this in 2 octaves. You could play this either way. 2nd fret, 3rd fret, I mean you can see this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So, after all, he's just a man. Stand by your man. And when we finish the chorus for the first time and we go back and repeat just the second part of the chorus, we get that again. If you were to play this in the upper octave, you could do that if you wanted to be a bit more melodic. Maybe if you're adding a 2nd or 3rd guitar part, that might work quite nicely. I'm starting on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And you'll work that out. So either play the bottom line of tab or the top line of tab. That's up to you. And there's a final little riff that we add in the second half of the chorus. Keep giving all the love you can. That takes you from that E7 down to C. 2nd fret on the 4th string, open 4th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, open 4th, and then we get to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Keep giving all the love you can. Stand by your man. Okay, that really is everything. Thanks for watching. That was a lot of fun. Let's have a play through and hopefully see you on the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just one man. You'll have bad times on, he'll have good times, doing things that you don't understand. But if you love him, you'll forgive him. Even though he's hard to understand. And if you love him, oh, be proud of him, 'cause after all, he's just a man. Stand by your man, give him 2 arms to cling to, and something warm to come to when nights are cold.